2025. Can you even believe it? Let me go ahead and do a quick refresh over here and be sure I'm transmitilating. Hello, Marva. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Appreciate you coming. I hope you are having a good first week of the year. Now, I don't know if we're doing anything. Hey, Rosie Posey, how are you? Okay. Oh, we're definitely doing it now because I can hear my own self because I didn't have mute on. All right, so our card today is a fun fold. It's one that you may have seen in the past. It's a tower fold card, and it's pretty simple. There is some cutting and some bending and folding that you got to do, but not a big deal. And then just because it's fun, I used the new birthday celebrations bundle with the Wildflower birthday specialty DSP. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. The specialty DSP is specialty not only because it has foil pieces, but because it also includes several pieces of DSP that you can cut up into different panels or you can push out die cuts. All right, and that's pretty fun. I used a couple of them on a few cards a couple of weeks ago, and then I have used a few more of them today. And so we're going to play with those. I love the colors. These are pretty, beautiful, cheerful colors. You can see I've made this for a first birthday. Mr. Bowen Martin turns 1 this month, so I thought this would be a good time to make him a card. And on the back, I've just put a simple sentiment on another piece of the Wildflower Birthday DSP. So let's go ahead and get started. This will all be on my blog tomorrow, so you don't even have to take any notes. I am going to use my Simply Scored board because, and there's only one reason why. You could absolutely use your paper trimmer, but when you use the trimmer on this particular fold, you need to do a score right at the 6 1/4 mark, and that's just a little bit harder for me to see. So for this purpose, I'm going to use the Simply Scored to score my lines, and then I will use the paper trimmer to do the cutting. If you don't have a Simply Scored board, well, first off, you should have one, but if you don't, you can absolutely use the paper trimmer because you can extend the arm out like so. Okay, so our first piece of cardstock is the base. It's soft seafoam, and I am going to put it with the long side across the top, and using the larger end on the stylus, we're going to make 6 scores. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 5 1/2, 6 1/2, or no, 5 1/4, 6 1/4, 7 1/4. Okay, so basically 1 inch apart and 1 inch from the end. Now, when you are scoring, don't try to use this where you're moving the stylus without moving your hand. Just pick your hand up and then push down on the stylus and move your entire hand. You have a much better shot of not, jinking and jiving outside of the score lines. Okay, so there was 1 inch, 2 inch, and 3 inches. And then there's a gap for the back/front, and we go to 5 1/4 and 6 1/4 and 7 1/4. Okay, so 6 score lines, 1 inch apart and 1 inch from the end. Done and done, easy and peasy. Okay, now here comes the only part that you really kind of have to pay attention to. All right, in your trimmer, we're going to, let me see if I've missed any questions. Oh, hello, Anne, first time with us. Thank you so much. Hi, Amy and Faith and Karen and everybody. I appreciate you guys being with me today. Okay, so let me show you the template, and I have it out because even I like a template. You can see where we just made the 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 5 1/4, 6 1/4, 7 1/4. Now I'm putting the paper in like so, and I'm going to go mark it 1 inch, 2 inch, and then I'll turn it and do 1 and 2. And we're just going to go between the 1 inch lines and the 3 inch lines. So the dotted line is a cut. Okay, so we're going to cut 8 times between these 2 score lines all the way across and these 2 score lines all the way across here. Okay, clear as mud. Okay, I hope so. All right, I'm going to keep the template because I don't want to screw up. I do hate screwing up more than almost anything. Okay. So I'm going to put the one short side at 1 inches, and I'm going to stand up so I can see it a little better. And you're going to want to pull your cut blade down so that the little register mark right there is at 1 inches, okay? And then you can push it down and go to 3 inches and pick it up, okay? Now we're gonna come down here again to 5 1/4 inches, push it into the cardstock and go to the 7 1/4 inch line, okay? And then we'll do 2 inches like this. I went a little far on that one. Mary needs to be more careful. Okay, so we're coming back up to 1 inch. Push it into the cardstock, go to 3 inches. Pick up, come down to 5 1/4. And go to 7 1/4. Okay, now we're just going to flip it this way, 180, and do the whole thing again, rinse and repeat. I'm going to start at 1 inches. Okay. Put your score line, your register mark on your blade at the 1 inch mark. Push it into the cardstock and go to 3 inches. Pick it up, come down to 5 1/4. Go to 7 1/4. Pick it up, move over to the 2 inch line and repeat. Starting at 1 inch. To 3 inches, pick up the score guard or the cutting guard, 5 1/4, down to 7 1/4. Okay, and there is our card base. Now what you want to do, we are not going to fold this line right here. Okay, so the center score line does not get folded. You're going to fold the 2 outside lines as valleys, and then the inside as a mountain. Okay, so we'll come score here, find my score, my bone folder. Ah, good, Debbie. Hope you guys have fun with it. And then we'll turn it and go like this. It's a fun little fold, pretty easy. And then we're going to, I like to turn it over just because that makes it a little easier. And we'll carefully burnish these score lines, like so, and do the same here. Okay. Okay. And now you can see that we're getting there. Now what you have to do is we're going to push these center pieces in and in, okay? And then you can kind of get it there, give it a little burnish, and a little burnish like that. And now you have a tower fold card. Now all there is left to do is decorate. Hello, Margene from Wyoming. How are things out there? I'm assuming cold. It's cold here. The sun is out and shining bright, but it is chilly. I'm just saying. Okay, now I have cut and matted because I thought, you know, there's really no reason for you guys to watch me glue. There's just no reason for any of that to happen. So I have 3 pieces that are for my center. So they will go like so. And then the matching one. And I picked this Pool Party and Gold. And just as a technique, I would try to make the little scallop doohickeys go the way scallop doohickeys would do. I'm ill, so this is really boggling my brain. Yes, I am sorry that you are sick, Karen. I hope you will feel better soon. Just to be saying it, it's not the way to start the new year. You really should start the new year healthy. I'm just saying. All right, so this goes like this, but I'm glad you like the card, and I hope you will watch the video for sure when you feel better. All right, so we're just using liquid glue. If you prefer Stampin' Seal, you can do that. I think if you've been here any time at all, you know I don't prefer Stampin' Seal. I am a glue girl from way back. Well, you know, at least 10 years. Can you guys believe I just hit the 10-year mark back in like December? 10 years with Stampin' Up. Wow. That's amazing. Okay. I still remember being the newbie going, I have no idea how to do any of this stuff. And now all of a sudden I'm the old person on the block. What happened? Well, that's actually true in so many areas. Okay, so we have these pieces on our front, and then I picked 2 designs with some cakes. Actually, in fact of matter, this paper is, I used one side on the front, and then I just used the other side. I just love these stripes on the back side. So you're really just using one piece of DSP in different which side up. All you want to do here is just be sure your cakes are right side up. I mean, I have spilled cakes, turned them over when I didn't mean to, but let's not do it on the card. How about that? Are you guys glad I already matted these for you? Yeah. Thank you, Margina. Appreciate it. And we're going to go a little bit more liquid glue. Remember, liquid glue is one of those you really don't need a whole ton. I'm just saying. Because the beauty of liquid glue is that it smushes, which means it fills the spaces. The bad part of the liquid glue, it smushes, so it can also go out over past where you want it. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over and put these pieces out on these outside edges, and then I'll do the back right quick, and then we can assemble the front, because the front is really the only, we are gonna fussy cut a sentiment. It is true. Try not to hyperventilate, Amy, I know, but it had to be done. It just did. All right, here we go. One more, and then we'll stamp a little sentiment. I sometimes like, especially when you have some light DSP with a real subtle pattern to it, I like stamping sentiments on DSP, and that is what I have done for this card. Let's see, where did you go? Here you go. Here we are. So I've got another piece of the Wildflower birthday, and it's the same one that I'm going to use later and that I will continue to use. And I am going to stamp Make a Wish in Blueberry Bushel, right in the middle of it, right in the middle of it. No, sometimes it does, Amy. It just does. Okay, so I'm going to ink that good with Blueberry Bushel and try to get it sort of straight. I'm always embarrassed with myself when I wiggle and squiggle a photopolymer stamp. That's just crazy. Now, before I put that on its thingy, let me put a metallic, now, oh, there, it's right in front of me. Good Lord, you guys, I'm losing it completely. I'm going to take one of these new adhesive back heart sequins and put that right on there before we get it put together. Now, you could write, you could write "Love Somebody Rather" on here if you wanted to, but you don't have to. I think the sentiments say the thing you want it to say. And to be quite honest, if you're sending this card to a 1-year-old, he or she is probably never really going to read it. Now, their parents could stick this amazing card in their wish keepsake box forever, but there's a little piece of me that doubts it, so I wouldn't even spend a whole lot of time writing much more than "Love, Mary." That's what I'll probably write on there. Maybe I'll let Wayne take part too. Oh, let's be sure we're right side up. Yep, okay. All right, so this guy is on here now. All right, and there's our back. Push him down, and you can see how the back goes. Now, the cool thing about this is even though it stands up and is perfect, when you fold it up, it goes right in your envelope, so you're good to go. All right, let's get the fussy cutting out of the way so everybody can take a breath, because I know everybody's concerned about that. I am going to stamp birthday. Part of why I did this is because to put this on a piece of cardstock would be so big on this card front that it would make me twitchy, so I didn't do it. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this in Blueberry Bushel, and I'm using a piece of thick basic white cardstock. All right, I think it works a little more nicely, when you are trying to fussy cut something. So I'll get this trimmed down so I don't have so much to deal with. And then we'll go, and I'm just going to start here. Now, it's sort of a close cut, but it's also, there are some areas where I'm not cutting in very far. But these are the kinds of things that being familiar and comfortable with fussy cutting allows you to do. So I am using the same technique that I always tell you to do, which is I am moving the cardstock with my left hand. I am not moving the scissors so much. So when I make that turn right there like that, I'm turning the cardstock with my left hand. And you can kind of think about it like if Stampin' Up! Had made a die for this. Stampin' Up!, why didn't you make a die for this, really? It wouldn't go down all in there and all around those things. It just wouldn't do it. It would stay out here and do kind of an outline die cut. Okay, and that's really what we're doing. I mean, I could understand getting all verklempt if you thought you had to go down and do right in there with all those little letters, which I suppose you could, but you're never going to get under that T cross, right? I mean, unless you're crazy with your X-Acto knife, which I am not. I have never been good at cutting things with an X-Acto knife. They really look bad. So I wouldn't even try it. So I'm just going to kind of go along like this and then make that hard turn back around to get up over the top of the B. And the more, let's see, what's the word I'm looking for? The fewer times you can do this with your scissors, the better off you'll be. And I do try to not go away from it and try and come back. Sometimes you have to if you get a lot of extra cardstock between you and your hand, and then it gets to be kind of awkward. So you can go off, cut off your excess, and then come back to it. But you have to kind of pay attention to coming back. Okay, we're almost done. Y'all can breathe now because it's almost over. Don't be scared. And I did kind of follow the bottom along here because it's easy. If it was hard, you can bet your butt I wouldn't be doing it. I would be going straight across there. So you can absolutely go straight across if you want. But it is pretty easy to make those little scallopy hoopies. And then right in here, I'm going to go ahead and make the turn by turning the cardstock with my left hand and then continuing the cut around. So you see how I'm guiding the cardstock with my left hand. I am not turning. And if anybody's asking me a question, I am so not looking because, you know, I got to look at my fussy cut. Okay. Whew. We did it. We did it. Okay, so there you go. That is singularly the most difficult piece of this whole thing. And even it wasn't happy. Okay, doke, here we go. Now, I picked some die cuts from the Wildflower Birthday DSP. Now, these are not die cuts from the DSP. These are using the little banner die that comes with the die set. And I just cut out 2 pieces of the DSP. Perhaps you recognize it. And I'm going to use some liquid glue to adhere these to the front of the card. Now, here's the trick. I want you to just remember this. To fold this up and put it in the envelope, it goes like that, which means this is the edge of your card base. Do not extend your decorations past these edges, closed like this, or the top and bottom, or you will have a much harder time putting it in the envelope. Just saying. Okay. All right. So that. Okay. Okay. Now I suppose I could have used this way, but it gets a little busy if you do that. So take advantage of the subtlety of that DSP, and you know what? I'm gonna wipe that off. I didn't want quite so much glue there. I got to yakking and not thinking. You really don't want glue in these parts because if you do, you're going to end up with stuff stuck in places you don't want. Okay, so I'm just kind of placing it up here in this top corner. And then I'll do the same here. And there's a little bit of overlap in the center. It really isn't that big a deal. You kind of want that to do. And then I'll put a little bit down here. Okay. That's how you really should put glue on these guys. Don't get carried away like I did on that first one. Okay. All right. So if you do it right, you don't have any glue back here and it will not stick to the back of the card. You don't want that. Nobody wants that. Okay. So now let's look at what I have for die cuts. Here we go. I picked the balloon Now, if this one is going to a little boy. So if I was sending this to a little girl, there's a beautiful large die cut that is the flowers that are beautiful. Look at this. Wait, no, it's not in that. It's this one. You could absolutely use this if you preferred, and it would be beautiful as well. But I'm going to stick with the balloons here on this one. That way I have two of these so I can make another card for a video. These are the things you have to think about when you're making cards for videos. Okay, so I have my balloons. I have one of the gold banners and a second banner in Pool Party that we're going to use for our sentiment. And we've got a cute little gold banner and a couple of other things. We've got a cupcake. I picked two different ones. We'll decide which color we want, and a flower and a couple of gold leaves. And I used, you'll see you have 0 through 9 in numbers. I used the 1 to cut a piece of old olive glimmer paper, and that is from the Berry Burst Old Olive and White Glimmer Paper Pack. Okay, so you get all the things. Obviously, if your person isn't turning 1, I wouldn't cut a 1. I'd cut something else. Or leave it without. You don't even have to put it if you don't want to. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my old olive Inka pad. Hey, Carol, thank you for joining. And I am going to stamp happy on my die cut. And I'm going to be sure that I've got good ink. I do. I'm going to do this right near the edge of the sentiment, the left side, okay, of that sentiment banner. And then I'm going to take ST, so that you also get, it's kind of cool, you get ST for first, third, second, 10th, 9th, 6th. Okay, so you get the suffixes that you need to make them say the right thing. But I am going to use st, because first is like that. And I cut the littlest banner. There's a little tiny banner. And I'm going to stamp ST in old olive ink. And I actually cut 2 of them because I was afraid I'd mess it up if I didn't. But since I did cut 2, I didn't mess it up. I got lucky. All right, there we go. So that's all of our stamping. We're done stamping. Now we're just going to put stuff on. Okay, so I'm going to start with my banner. And what I want to do is I want to put my banner right up here so that it doesn't extend past that edge of the tower. Okay, because if it does, it's going to make you have a problem. Okay, and nobody wants a problem. So I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue. Okay, there we go. Along the top strand here. Okay. Get back over there. And I'm going to stick this end on there and that end on there. Just like that. Next up, we have some balloons. Balloonies. And I'm going to really push the boundary here, okay? Because I don't want to go past here. So I'm going to get right to it. All right. So let me just put some liquid glue on this and down here. And then you can close it up like that and adhere it so that you know. Yeah, I did that. Did I do that right? Yeah, I did that right. Okay. So I've got glue here and I've got glue down here. And I didn't go above or past the edge there, a little bit past the edge. Fix that. There we go. There we go. Okay, so that's down now. So I think, you know what? Okay, I'm going to give you 2 seconds to help me design here. Should I leave this, should I make it a 1 first? I have nobody else who's going to need a first birthday. If I left that off, I wouldn't have any decoration up here, but I wouldn't have a number. So here's what I'm going to do. Whoever's on here and sends me a comment first, well, no, that's going to be just too much for y'all. So yes or no, should I put the number or should I keep it open-ended for a future birthday card? Leave the number off, open-ended. I think that's probably the best thing. Let me tell you what I would have done. I would take this one and this little flower right here in blue, because this was for a boy, and I adhered this little banner right to the top of the number, and then I put this right like that, and then just adhered it with liquid glue. Okay, so you could do that with any of the numbers that anybody had. Okay, but I'm going to put these over here. But isn't that pretty with that sparkly one? Yeah, yeah. Okay, now let's go ahead and I'm going to adhere my sentiment to my little gold banner here, like a little mat. Okay. And while that is drying, I'll put some dimensionals on the back of my sentiment. I mean, you knew there was going to be a dimensional somewhere on this, right? I mean, come on. It's me. Makes me twitchy if I don't have any dimensionals anywhere. I mean, goodness, what kind of a card is that anyway? All right, so let's go ahead and adhere this. And I'm going to adhere it right like that. I'd like to be able to see the little bit of the balloon string so that you can tell it's a balloon string, right? Otherwise it just looks like balloons out in the middle of nowhere. And nobody wants their balloons floating around. Y'all don't let your balloons float around. They land in people's pastures and then their ponies eat them. And then they have vet bills. So, you know, don't do it. Just don't do it. Okay? So we'll put that like that. And then I'm going to adhere my sentiment. And I've got a cupcake and whatnot to slide under, but I think I can slide it under even with my dimensionals. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Now I want to put it right there like so, being sure it doesn't go off the edge of my card over here, and that it's kind of straight. That's all. It did all the things. I got all the things. Kind of straight off the edge. Okay, another option here. I have a pink flower, and I think I'm going to use this, well, I don't know. Let me see if I have a different color flower left over. Hang on a minute. Because I don't want it to be the same as my cupcakes or my frosting. Let me see what I got here. I could do that one. Yeah, let's do that one. It's a little bigger. It's a little different one, but that's okay. Okay. So I'm going to take my tweezers. I'm going to slide this like so, except I'm going to make him go like that. And then I'm going to stick a couple of little leaves down in there. I've got, oh, let's see. Wait, I had more than one leaf. I thought I had more than one leaf. Huh. I guess I lost a leaf. I lost a leaf. I've lost a leaf. Let me see if I got more leaves. Let me see what I got for leaves down here. Maybe I put it, oh, here, it's still down in here. It did not come out. This leaf wanted to not be used. I don't know. It's going to have to be used because that's just the way this works. Hello, that's just the way this works. Oh, and I'm going to want a leaf too. Another leaf. A green leaf. Green leaves are so pretty. Do I have any more green leaves? I have no more green leaves. Wait, there's a leaf. Maybe there's a leaf. Hang on. Yep, I see a leaf. Leaf. Okay. These envelopes work pretty good, but sometimes your thingies can, your little doohickeys can hide in there because they're hiders like that. Okay, sorry, I have to put this back or I'll lose them. I mean, I'm not saying I have ever lost anything, but I've totally lost things. Okay, now let's go ahead and stick a leaf under here, and then we'll stick a gold leaf under there. I'm going to stick it like that. Okay. And we can slide this little guy in. This little guy goes in underneath the cupcake. Underneath the cupcake, but over the leaf. Okay. And then we'll stick this guy down like so. And I'm going to trim that little stem. Thanks, Bonnie. Appreciate it. Just trim that little stem a little bit so that I can stick him in there easier without having to work so hard. You know me, I don't like to do extra work unless it's fussy cutting, and then I will do that in a heartbeat. Okay, so there's another leaf, and then we'll put our big flower right here, like this. Let's see, pick you up a little bit. There you go. My flower's a little bigger than I planned. So let me just trim a little bit right like that. There we go. Okay. It's paper, people. Make it do what you want it to do. That's my motto. That's my story. It ought to be like my tagline. Make your paper do what you want it to do. Now all that's left is to put a few hearts on the card. And so we're going to put 1, 2. I love these little hearts. You know what's so cool about them is they are very, very flat, which means you can get jiggy with them. And I think since I don't have anything right here, I'll put one right there. And then we'll come down here and put one here. There we go. And maybe one up here on the cupcake. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, oh, oh. And then put one right here. 7. Okay, and there's our card front. And then our back. And that is our card. So let me do a real quick treatment on my envelope. And what I did for this one is I took the banner stamp from Birthday Celebrations. And I am going to, thanks, Daryl. Appreciate you. I'm going to stamp across here in Old Olive, and what I did is I just kind of aimed it so that the string of the banner was on the edges, because otherwise it would be like floating in space, and banners don't float in space. I think we just had that conversation, didn't we? And then you could use whatever other color is in there. You could use Pretty in Pink or Pool Party, but I decided to go back with the Blueberry Bushel. I try. I know it doesn't always seem like I do, but I try to make it so you don't have to use every single color in the Stampin' Up! Catalog to make your cards. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to angle it a little bit and offset it so that the banners are not exactly lined up like that. There we go. And then I'm using more of my favoriteest striped paper. I love this paper right there. I think I maybe just got ink all over my fingers. Those dark colors, boy, they will get you. And by you, I do mean me. They will get me every single time. All right, and then just put a little bit of liquid glue on the edges of your envelope flap. And isn't this pretty? I love this paper. I don't know why, but I just really do. The pinks and the green together, one of my favorite combos. And then, since you're already feeling proud of your fussy cutting skills, we'll just do the world's easiest fussy cutting around the edge of the envelope. But don't use bad habits just because you're cutting something easy, okay? Don't be moving your scissors and cutting out here at the end of your scissors. Push it right up against the fulcrum. Do it right, and that'll be good training. Practice like you fight, okay? And there you go. One for anyone, and one for the cutest little boy on the planet who's turning 1 this month. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all coming this first time in 2025. I will be back on Saturday evening at 7 p.m. And I don't know what we're going to make, but we're going to make something. And I hope you like it. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much. Bye.